Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bob, will you do the honors?
Bow our head, please. Father, we pray for those people in Florida. We ask that you provide them with guardian angels to give them strength and safety for the new storm. We pray for this government to do the right decisions. Give us guidance in the civil air patrol for our safety and our mission. Give us guidance for us. And most of all, we just praise you, Father.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Are we on with the tube of views? All right. Hey, YouTubers. Hello, Teamsters? No, not Teamsters. All right. First, I think we have a couple of guests. I think both of you have actually been here before, but if you'll just kind of briefly wave hi, say hi. Names, I don't know if everybody's met everybody, but just give me a name and brief who you are and how many times you've been already.
All right, so I'm Elijah. This is my second time. I've been in Riverside now for a few years, but I just come from a long background of airmen in the Air Force, and so it's kind of the calling. So it's fun here today.
All right, welcome, Elijah.
I'm Doug Roberts. I was here one other time, and I'm just exploring the program.
All right, excellent. Well, welcome. Like I said, new commander, so I can't promise anything yet. No, I've been here for a bit, so hopefully I won't disappoint. Let me know if anyone can't hear me because, someone likes to run their APU right next to our squadron a lot.
I told that crew not to start my airplane.
No, keep it warm. Keep it warm. I might have to get out of here. So some quick updates from members. We did duty position change because obviously since I took command, it's part of the job is I have to release everybody and then add everybody back. Did everybody get back to the positions that they want or removed from the positions they didn't want? I'm gonna go with yes. Okay. Those of you online, if you're looking to do something or you're looking not to do something, I'll still leave that window open for you to let me know. Just contact me either text or email or Teams. The bigger news, and I'm surprised he's not here, we have a new cap pilot. Paul Connor passed his PPL and his Form 5 today, so he is official. So congrats to him. Hopefully, it's interesting. I didn't even know you could do this, or I would have done it myself. Apparently, he worked out a deal where I think his DPE signed off on the kind of ACS portions of the CAP exam for the Form 5, which Robert Kim actually accepted that. So all he had to do was kind of the ground portion of, making sure you know the planes and all that stuff. So he got all that done just today. So that's kind of a shortcut, I guess. I didn't know that. But what it also means is, he's qualified to fly the 172. That doesn't exist yet. No, it's around, but it's not here. It's not in Hemet. So he'll be working his way up through the 182s and 206s. So congratulations to Connor. So just as a reminder, promotions, awards, and recognition. So we've been a little bit lax on this. There is both a promotion review board. I kind of need a volunteer to also join that board. Today it's Bob, it's Mike, who's not here, and we need one other person because, I can be the tiebreaker all the time, but, I'd rather have the squadron kind of speak up for the promotion board. It's very straightforward. It's just, hey, this person's completed all their requirements, yay, nay, very quick, very easy. So need a volunteer for that. Don't have to do anything now. I know the pressure. The other thing is the review board, or the awards review board. So I will most likely be released from the group award committee, maybe re-added since Andre likes me. But we also have a squadron one. and we've been kind of remiss in recognizing some of our own members for the things that they do. So Roger Mann and Swift again is on that, and we would like to have a volunteer join the awards committee. And basically, you kind of keep track of things, and when somebody does something good, nominate them for an award. One thing you should remember from all of your level 1 training is any CAP member can nominate anyone for an award. So it's our pay. It is the pay that we get. That's always those are two fun kind of and easy committee memberships. So please, if you are interested, reach out to me and we'll get you added. I know there was something that I was supposed to put on there, but I may have forgotten. Oh well, moving on. No, that's down there. We're gonna go to vehicle status updates, and I know Al's hiding. I checked AMRAD today. 216 Charlie Papa is still fully mission capable. I think any of its deficiencies are deferred, I think, so we're good. And as I mentioned, the Cessna 172, the mysterious 172 with the G1000, we still don't have an ETA on when it's arriving at Hemet. Maybe Andre will find out tonight because he's at Hemet tonight. So,
You got the status for the update from the wing on all the aircraft maintenance that happened over the course of the year?
yeah, you know what? So, I mean, I can read it or I can send it out for everybody's edification.
Just summarize, I guess.
Okay, yeah, you can summarize.
Several airplanes, they described several airplanes that are in cap. 940 Charlie Papa has an overhaul engine that's getting ready to come back online. There is one plane, 308 Charlie Papa, stranded in Utah with an engine needs a rebuild. So more to come on that, I guess. Like you mentioned, the refurbished 172. There's still not an ETA, but I know about it, and everybody wants it to show up and it's soon. Several of the other planes have already completed their annuals. They're back in service. 216 Charlie Papa, it's in the hangar. It's fine. And funding has been established. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Al. All right. Moving on. Get through this agenda fast. As we mentioned, so the California Wing Conference is, what is that, 2 weeks from now? No, I can't do math, 2.5 weeks. Again, I didn't check to see if they're doing any of the virtual where you can kind of do it, watch it virtually over the web. I didn't see if they're doing that. Doesn't look like they are. Sometimes, like some wings will do that, and it's kind of neat to do it. Like I think Hawaii did it last time, and it's a great way to get that checked off real quick and real easy because you just kind of attend the conference virtually instead of going there in person. So keep an eye out for it. But I think it bounces. The wing conference bounces between Northern California and Southern California. So right now it's in San Jose, which means next year it'll be down here in the Los Angeles area. So keep that in mind. The airplane as reserve note is interesting. So I guess probably Andre and Terry are probably going to fly it up there. So yay. Let's see.
Indicate they had an open seat if somebody wanted to go up there.
Yeah, it's a 206, so it should be at least one more seat.
If it fits, it fits.
Sort of. Yeah. Sounds like my plane, actually. If you can shove it through the door, it's going. All right. I didn't get any updates from anyone doing any training opportunities because we're at the early part of the year, so funding just literally got released, so probably no updates there. Same thing on O-Rides. I didn't see the O-Ride mission number open up, so they're probably still waiting on that. So the neat thing is for missions, Andre and I are going to go to Imperial this weekend. So we'll be taking 216 Charlie Papa down there and staring into Mexico for, 20 plus hours. So yay. It's still fun. So Yeah, those of you kind of keep your 2 year tracker going, so you can get into the CD stuff. It's I will say that the mission itself isn't as fun, but you're getting to do the mission that we all are supposed to be doing. So that part is fun, and then it's the camaraderie of actually being around other CAP people doing an actual CAP mission and not a SARX. So keep your timers running. Michelle, I removed you from recruitment officer. Just I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate. You're doing a lot of important work, so we'll want to keep you fresh and going. So if anyone else would like to do recruitment officer, please hit me up and we can talk about it and see like what I'm expecting or what anybody's expecting really. But in that note, recruitment opportunities. I think we mentioned this last time, and I guess we'll just keep mentioning it. In this area, because there are more than just this area, Flaybob and Corona, Corona being next week, Flaybob being the week after, there's an antique aircraft display. So, people kind of are hanging around, they're bringing their families, they're talking about planes. It's a good place to kind of show up and talk shop, talk cap. So if you are wandering near those airports on those dates and times, it's always fun. I know at Corona, I typically don't wear my uniform, but I know the Corona Cadet Squadron usually hangs around and gets involved. But I usually have a couple cap things around, and people end up asking me if they walk by my hangar. So just know it's an opportunity to fly the flag, if you will. Oh, let's see. We'll keep going. So events. Okay, so October 12th, play Bob again. Haunted Airport. So that's a few days from now. That'll be fun if you like being scared at the airport, which I think most people don't like being scared at the airport, but huh? Hey, any landing you can stumble away from is that how it goes? Yeah. What was it? Anyways, yeah, you can stumble away from it, walk away from it, and the plane's reusable. That's an excellent landing. So hey, so that's on the 12th at looks like that's going to be 7 o'clock. On the 19th. We don't have. Do we have a time?
So, we just got. I actually got an email from the cafe yesterday. I think it was. I forwarded it to everybody who's already signed up to participate. Setup time is 2 p.m. for everybody that's not a food vendor. The food vendors get there an hour earlier, so they can get their food cooked and such.
Okay.
Start time is 4 p.m.
Okay.
I don't remember the closing time. I think it was 9 o'clock.
And this is K-Ral at the cafe, right?
Yeah. Oh, at the terminal, the whole parking lot.
Okay.
About 3 blocks of lines of people.
All right. Excellent.
But yeah, so we did get the email. We are going to have, we got at least 6 from our squadron here that will be participating. And we got 6 from Flaybob. 5 to 6
Oh,
from Flaybob.
really?
Their squadron commander and apparently 5 cadets is what it looks like.
Okay.
So that's our participation this year.
Woohoo.
And yeah,
What is their squadron number?
31.
The Billy Leclerc Squadron.
And around up too, Michelle and I were at the airport on Saturday. We sat out, set up a little table, sat out there trying to recruit.
Oh, this past Saturday.
This past Saturday.
Oh, okay. Everyone just look at you and go, "What are they doing?"
Basically, we just sat at a little table there and just kind of sat with some STEM kits and stuff sitting on the table, some signage that we, gone with from here. And
That's cool. I mean, people are bringing their families and stuff. Do the kids look interested at all, or?
Well, it was oddly the quietest Saturday I've seen at that
Ooh,
airport
oh.
in 3 years.
Everyone-
Probably because the fog showed down at the beach.
Yep, I was gonna say that. That's probably why. Yeah.
But yeah, there was we did have one gentleman that was very enthusiastic to talk to us and got his information, and he said he probably couldn't make it this week, but he was really enthusiastic. He's a retired Air Force, and he's looking at coming. So
Cool.
but,
Excellent.
and then we had a really good turkey love sandwich.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you did that. For those of you online, I mean, it's definitely something. If you are interested, like if you're already going to an event that is aviation related, and you just want to have a table and you want to wear your CAP uniform and talk CAP while you're doing that event, talk to us. We can get an event going, get it set up, and you can kind of do two things at once, and do a cap thing and do a little personal thing for yourself. Yes. And the lunch was tax deductible. See, there you go. That's excellent stuff. Um, and then I remember I was checking the calendar. It is Nighthawk at the end of this month, so barbecue time. So, as many of you know, it's an hour earlier, so 6 o'clock in our hangar. We're gonna barbecue. I guess I'm gonna be barbecuing. Is that what we're saying? But typically I think we kind of winged it last time, but I guess we should try to get a little more organized with who's bringing what. But I typically will do the barbecue stuff, so protein. If you have special requests, I will try my best to accommodate, but normally I just go for burgers and dogs, and we kind of, yes. I was like, you might have me at tri-tip because I don't have to prepare that, but no. Yeah, the brisket. This guy with the brisket. But no, I mean it's a good time. Bring if you want to. I think, how do we want to do it? Do we want to do a form so people aren't kind of bringing the same things, or
In the
what?
past, what we do is to say, okay, we need 3 6-packs of cola or something like that. And you'd list 3, and then you'd get 3 names to donate 1. Maybe 2 or 3 bags of chips, and you'd have 2 names there. You'd have a fruit, and we just put it on a sheet of paper, put it up, and people sign up for it.
Okay.
And that way you don't get overloaded by one thing.
Would you like to create a little list? Perfect. Thank you. And then people can kind of self-select. Yes, sir.
One update. Carlos just put in the chat that he was able to get the FISTO operations frontline manager and the APC Tower folks, so they will be able to come here in March and September for our AE nights of this month.
Ooh. All right. So yeah.
Tower here.
Let's nail down those dates. Yeah, I mean, ever since I started training, I've wanted to see what's going on in the tower. So I'm waiting for that because I want to see their point of view of my horrible landings when I was a student. Yeah. I think what was it? I know I got at least once, like great landing, all 3 of them or something. All right. So that's Nighthawk. November 9th. Salute to veterans. I still don't have all the information about this. I think it's, if you're interested in what this is, it sounds, I think Andre has more information on this, so you can reach out to him if it sounds interesting and you want to attend. But sounds like it could be a good time if you're looking to do a little bit of veteran celebration early in November after you cast your vote and the world is on fire. Oh, no. Sorry. That's a different topic. We'll talk about it later. Let's see. General announcements. Pilot onboarding return to flight is now funded. Some of you have seen this email, so if you are interested in becoming a CAP pilot, or you haven't been flying for a long time and you are coming back to flying, we now have a mission number funded ready for you to find an instructor and get back into the air. So obviously you can contact me, you can contact Terry, or Andre, well, although he's going to be super busy, but you can contact any one of us to kind of get you set up with pilot onboarding. Debriefing, so we already debriefed Chris and Michelle's event, so I'll debrief on my event. I did water survival. I didn't do it. I was the instructor of record. So somehow, some way, I was the only active instructor for water survival in this area. So I helped with Daniel Balderson and Dom. I never remember his last name because it gets nutty to pronounce. But Dom, they basically taught the course. I will be helping to teach next year or next time we run it. But it's a fun course. This year is different because National has mandated that we have to use some sort of PFD in the training. So the time I did it, there really was no PFD, so everybody was just kind of out there doing their thing. But this time we had a pretty structured approach of PFDs. A bunch of decommissioned PFDs were used that still inflate. You swim to one of the pool, you swim back, you float or tread for 10 minutes, and then you climb into the raft. Climb into the raft, get successful, nobody drowns, you pass. Pretty straightforward. It's not really what I would call like a real like, hey, you're prepared to water ditch now. It's not like that's not its goal. Its goal is to familiarize yourself more with the PFD and the raft and how the raft operates, because we do talk a lot about what's on the raft and how to use it, the correct way to board the raft, because those are all going to be things that are a little bit critical. And at least if you've seen it once or twice and you're actually in that situation, you have a little more familiarity. But the rafts are pretty interesting. The ones that we have, we don't have the big deep sea 4-man ones. I think we had technically a 2-man that we put 4 people in, so that was kind of interesting. And it still floated, so that should be a good thing for you. But yeah, so that was a good time. We have it down at Los Alamitos. The extra benefit was, since this was at Los Alamitos, they're launching for the air show. So that base is where all the planes actually launch from. So one of the commander, or not commanders, but one of the officers from the base comes up and he says, "Hey, if you guys aren't doing anything, you can just go hang out on the flight line and watch the aircraft." So you actually got a better air show than the people there. So that was kind of fun. But that was my last weekend. We got through it pretty quick this time, and like I said, no one drowned, no one had any problems, so that was good. I got to meet Colonel Vita, who's our last wing commander. He's a slow swimmer. He swims really slow, but no, he's fine. He's safe. That's the good part. But I hadn't actually met him, so that was kind of fun. All right, Bob, you ready? Got all ready for you?
I have a disc and a driver. Can we plug it into a computer?
Sure. Oh, ooh, that is old school. Oh,
Brand new.
that is old school.
Because I don't have a CD-ROM on my computer, so I had to buy an external.
Oh no, CD. Boy, you're pushing the limits over here, Bob. Let's see. We might have to.
I didn't have time to put on a thumb drive.
Let me see if we can switch this out here.
Otherwise, I'll just talk about it.
Yeah, just bring that disc over here, and we'll see if we can get this sharing. Let me stop share.
I was going to print out a lot of stuff. I'm having problems with my HP and my new computer. It doesn't like Windows 11.
Oh man, that's right. I don't think we set these up to share. Oh man. Retro. Okay. Let me think through this here. Let me think through.
I should have brought my laptop to plug it. I thought there would be one here. And I thought we could use the
Oh, wait a second.
Apple.
No. So we didn't load the software on this computer after casting.
All you need to do is be able to take and find the drive. And then open up the drive. So if you plug this in.
Oh, you can actually just. It's got it, right?
I'm not going to be able to get it open.
Oh, yeah?
But I have power to
Oh, boo. Okay.
That's okay. You should drive it.
Here you go. Let's see that.
You got it.
This PC. This PC. Yeah, ooh. Probably the app, I would think. Okay, try that one. I guess. Ready? Oh. Ruh-roh.
You got to be kidding me.
It's all right. Do
I
you
thought the disc was in there.
do you remember
Even in chaos.
do you remember where like what was on it? Like what was
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing?
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about stalls.
I can try to download it.
Now, this is So anyway, we're gonna talk about takeoffs, landings, what have you.
Let's see.
Oh, I apologize, people. I started doing this. It's been a zoo in our house. I took the week off and I haven't had a day of rest. 3 trips to Lake Arrowhead on business. Finally got a doctor's appointment for my sciatica the 26th of November. Can you believe that, for an MRI? Oh, jeez. So I'm living on Advil and pain pills.
Hey, Bob, is this the video? By any chance?
Bruce here? No.
It said Bonanza stall demo.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave that up for a reference. There you
So
go.
anyway, we're going to talk about stalls here. So here's the first chart. So between 2013, 2019, on a survey, we found that most landings and takeoffs, we had the most stalls. Does anybody know why? Let's talk about it a little bit. What happens here in takeoff? Where are we as far as weight is concerned? Heavy. Max takeoff weights, right? Worst time to lose an engine? Worst time to have anything else fail? Or be out of balance? Out of weight and balance? FCG? What have you? The Bonanza 33 was very critical at one point in time in regards to fuel. Giving you an FCG if you didn't watch what was going on. How about landing? Where do we find some of the accidents and the problems here?
Low and slow.
We got it. So here's where we are. Four areas in which stalls occur. At full flaps, half flaps, depending upon what airplane you're going to do, so I'll just stay with that. No flap landings and angle of attack, right? So we know that on the wing, we have lift, and we have partial lift here, giving us lift here. And the chord line and the angle of attack is one of the most important things that take place. So in takeoff, we end up with a wing. We'll just say this is going to be 5 degrees, 10 degrees, and 17 degrees. So we have continual flow over here at 5. We have some flow and a little burble back in here. What happens at 17? Pardon?
Max angle of the jack. You get this stall.
What happens to the top of the wing? Do we have airflow?
No airflow.
Separation.
We have no airflow, right? And interesting enough, it takes place on every airplane that we fly. It's a mechanical figure. Don't ask me why. If I'm flying a DC-10, same thing. 767, MD-80, 707, Cessna 150, Bonanza, Piper, 17 degrees. Guaranteed. So at 17 degrees, we start getting this. And we lose all lift. And then when we start losing our lift, what do we do with the wing? Wing starts to stall, and it starts rolling over in one direction or another. And in the landing configuration, it ends up being in the same thing. So if we have an airplane that's coming down here and we start to level off, we can go with the wing, and the wing, and we start getting the same thing at 17 degrees. Don't forget, if this is the fuselage and the wing is coming up here to 17 degrees, we're still going to get the burble in the bottom end. That's when people start pulling back on the yoke. So my viewpoint, and I've landed in all kinds of weather in regards to some of this, yeah, we have a tendency to push the nose over, but then as we start getting down, we start pulling on the yoke, or we start using the aileron. And in some cases, the aileron that's up causes aerodynamic drag, which causes some lift to be lost, and the wing that's down in the opposite direction. So in our landing configuration, as we get closer to the landing surface, we start wanting to do this. We start wanting to pull on it. So the aircraft itself, the fuselage, in its direction in which it is traveling compared to where the wing load is going, we start raising the wing in regards to the airflow. And it becomes as we get closer, we keep pulling back, we start getting into that burble. And this is why we end up with more landings and takeoffs in the category of which we have a much higher accident rate causing death or serious injury. And it takes place whether we're descending or whether we're in the climb mode. It's very interesting. So what we try and do in here is we always want to trim. The Lockheed 1011 had a very interesting method of descent and climb mode in it. DC-10 was pitch, and in the 1011 it was stall. So they had stall fins come up in the wing, so the airplane maintained its attitude in which it was, and it would go up and down, where the DC-10, the pitch changed. Most of our airplanes, pitch change is where we start doing it, versus having a stall fence in the wing and causing the wing to stall, yet the attitude remains the same. The first time I flew in this thing, I watched the horizontal, or the attitude indicator, and I'm going kind of funny, and I started talking about this on the thing, and I'm looking out the window, sitting in the cockpit. You see these paddles come up in the wing, and the attitude remained the same, and it was just kind of moving up and down like it was in a wave, like a cork in a wave. So there are different things in which regard here. The newer airplanes, I'm not sure about the G1000, but we're getting this right here. Angle of attack is becoming more and more useful in regards to some aircraft. It's developed and is available for all civil aircraft, including our private airplanes that we do own. It saved a lot of lives, but a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of aerodynamics that's involved in the attitude of the aircraft itself. And so we put the AOA in it, showing a little thing that moves up and down, and it shows you in the green and in the red. And when we get too high in the attitude, it starts showing in the red. I'm not sure if there's a warning horn in regards to that or not. I have no idea. But I'm not sure also, does the G1000 have the AOA installed in it?
Some of
the
them
newer ones?
Yeah.
The newer ones?
Mm-hmm.
They're almost becoming common in all of the electronic EFIS systems, and that we have the electronic instrument packages that we have. So basically, just remember, guys, no matter where you are, 17 degrees. So when we practice stalls, we practice with power on, we practice with power off in the stall things. And what do we do to keep it? Do we work the ailerons a lot when we're in the stall mode? How do we keep the airplane stable until it begins to stall?
Rudder.
With the rudder, right? When you start doing the ailerons, you start putting lift on one side and you stall the other side when you start using the ailerons. So we try and keep the ailerons level. We use the rudder. It may seem like you're cross-controlling, but you're not in this thing here. Luckily for my airplane, the wings are set pretty nice. And even though I've been on the ground with that thing, it cost me 2 flaps, a propeller, and an engine. 54 years of flying, I ended up with my first accident. Actually, it's considered an incident. I only spent $40,000 putting it back together. Cost me 1 insurance policy. And the FAA called and said, "Can you believe I've been 54 years accident-free and I had this?" But I don't like helicopters overflying me by 100 feet either out of San Bernardino. But anyway, so these are some of the things we do. The other things we get in, if we look at some of the graphs, and we look at some of the graphs that we have in our book here, we can put speed here, we can put angles here, and we notice that as this curve moves up, and we start looking at the loading here, trying to just remember, hang on. This is going to be the stall speed. When you look at your charts and you start here at the angle, the greater the angle, we must know that also here, this is going to be angle of bank. That's what I was trying to think of, angle of bank. So as we start getting up to 60 to 67 degrees angle of bank, our stall speed has really increased drastically. So I can be down around 45, 50 knots before it gets into stall for my airplane. It starts to burble a little bit around 54. It's pretty stable. And I've had it at 45 and I had to horse it into a stall at 45 knots. So that means the wings are set pretty well between the two. I've never touched them. So when we look at our angle of bank and we start getting 60 or 70 up here, we'll just say from 50 to 70 degrees, you notice that our stall speed in some cases, instead of being down around 50 knots, it may be up to 85 knots. And yet we're flying in a tight turn at 60 knots, and then we wonder why it stalls. The other thing is going to be CG. And there's been more pictures of CGs and overweight aircraft where they've done this. I don't know if I told the story about the Bonanza that took off out of Santa Monica and climbed a couple thousand feet within seconds, killed 6 people on board, and it went from 2,000 feet to 3,200 in a matter of seconds. And we think what happened is that something took place with the 2 kids in the 5th and 6th seat, and since it's club seating, parents are sitting watching their kids, and the pilot and the passenger are looking out the front end. And what happened is someone got unstrapped and went back on their knees, the 4-foot difference that they had, and put an FCG in it, and it went up like this, rolled over, came back down, killed them all. Same thing happened in Palm Springs. So when it comes to weight and balance, I'm really a stickler on it. I've always been a stickler on it. I've found more mistakes in a DC-10 out of LaGuardia. At one point, I was over 26,000 pounds overweight for a runway, and complained about it. And dispatcher got pretty ticked off at me. There's some other words that I can use, but we got ladies here. But it starts with a P and ends with a D. Anyway, he says, have you seen pink bulletins? I always had pink bulletins in your manual. Something. I said, yes, I've read that thing. I said, but if we have an engine out on this thing, I said, I'm either going to be at 4th and Broadway or going to be at Jamaica Bay. Where do you want me to put the airplane on an engine out on this runway? I'll get right back. Click. Here comes the red coat. I'm ready to close the door. I said, don't close the door. We got an issue here. But you got an issue. The takeoff data doesn't match the runway that we're supposed to be using, and we don't know what we got going here. So hang on. We're overweight. Out came the carts. 26,000 pounds of cargo came off that airplane to make it. So what would happen if I had to take and do an abort? They would have had to close the runway. That's part of the runway for the one runway in LaGuardia because we're on wooden pilings like telephone poles. If we would have gotten airborne, we would have probably not gotten very far. We would have been in Jamaica Bay more than likely. But he wasn't happy with my explanation of 4th and Broadway. So anyway. I'm just going to kind of cut this short. There's a lot of other things involved in here. I'm sorry I don't have my disc in regards to this thing, but these are the most important things that take place. Just remember, angle of bank and low airspeed is going to get you in trouble. Low airspeed and angle of bank. And that's why the FAA that comes up and says anything over 45 degrees is considered what? What kind of flight?
Acrobatic.
Aerobatic flight. Aerobatic flight over 45 degrees. So I used to demonstrate in the Navy on an S2, 60 degrees of bank, but you had to continue to pull positive G on it because the wings were never designed on an S2 to be negative. And they had 16 little pins holding that wing together. But anyway, and I had some other interesting things I used to demonstrate where the airplane in front of me would actually draft me, and I could just take the yoke and do this, and the eyeballs kind of get about this big. And I said, that aircraft is flying our dome. Our dome is flying the aircraft. It was an E-1B. So a lot of things take place in aerodynamics that we don't quite understand because we don't get a lot of good ground instruction in regards to this. But just remember, if you're close to the ground, keep the nose down and don't try and get into too much of a bank, and you'll be safe. So I put my airplane in a 40-knot crosswind, and I've taken off in a 40-knot crosswind. If you're in the airlines, they say get the passengers out of here. You can have a 50-knot crosswind, even though the book says 25. And that's why it's kind of rough. So you're on the tiller all the time going down the runway, and you tell the folks, I try not to use the word turbulent because that scares people, makes them scared. So I say we're going to have some unstable air. Sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? Versus turbulence. Oh, turbulence. I got white knuckles, right? So I said we're going to have some unstable air. And as soon as you lift off, the airplane wants to crab into it, and you just keep right on going. I mean, so it's a little bit rough on the runway and the takeoff on crosswinds when you got a lot of crosswinds here. But just remember, it's in the landing configuration and the takeoff configuration where we get that high attitude pitch. Most airplanes, about 10 degrees is a pretty good standard for takeoff pitch. I'm not sure what the 182 or the 206 is like, but that's pretty standard. DC-10 was 10 degrees pitch takeoff. My airplane's 10 degrees pitch. They're pretty standard. There may be a few degrees difference between them, but that's a good thing to look at when you're looking at your gyro horizon, the attitude gyro. And cruise is something else. You start trimming and you want to do that. I've actually had to take people in my back seat, take all their bags and stick them under their legs going into Wilcox for some fuel because I began to get like this on my yoke. Guys, can you grab all those bags and stick them under your feet? All I got to do is move them up a couple feet and I'll have more positive attitude on my yoke. But we started having FCG and all I had was 4 adults in there. We've been down to Amarillo delivering an airplane. So any questions in regards to some of this in regard what I've covered? I kind of cut it short a little bit. Yeah. So just remember, no matter what your flap is and what your airspeed is, you're always susceptible to stall. Watch your weight and balance and believe in those charts because all the test is actually done by a professional. We're not professionals. We're the users. And we rely on those professionals to give us the right attitudes. So that's it for the day. I apologize for not having the full disc because we would have run about 30 minutes with the full disc. But this is the principles of what I was going to speak of.
Well, thanks, Bob. All right. Continuing on the safety topic, let me close out of this. So, right, just to remember, wing stall can stall at any speed. Watch yourself in the traffic pattern. There was a Cirrus crash just recently. Guy and his family on board. I think he did one go around. It was a busy traffic pattern. Clearly lost track of his airspeed in the second time around. crashed a mile in front of the runway and killed all aboard. So, it doesn't matter what kind of plane you're flying. It doesn't matter your experience level. I'm still new enough that I'm hyper conscious, when I'm closer to the ground and, low and slow. And on takeoff, I'm not really comfortable until I'm 1,000 feet off the ground. Um, that's one of those things about, I think the longer you fly, you get used to those critical phases and you kind of start, wondering about, okay, I got to worry about climb. And depending on your aircraft, you may have adjustments to make during your climb and you're concentrating on that instead of flying the aircraft in the moment. So, stalls, my DPE beat me up over stalls. So I'm very sensitive to stall training and making sure that everybody understands things like not using the aileron because you will cause your wing to stall before the rest of the aircraft, and making sure that you know the rudders. I mean, I think as a student pilot, most students aren't good on rudders, and the DPE. Well, you're not supposed to touch controls as a DPE, but even after I'd clearly passed, he's like, "You're too timid on stalls," and he put the plane up into almost 16 degrees, pretty close. And then sat there and played with the rudders, and he said, "Look how much freedom you have, even in this attitude." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Can we go home now?" But he was telling me don't be so timid. But I think his message was definitely understand your aircraft, understand what causes stalls, and as long as you stay away from those things, you should be okay. And obviously, if you're high enough when you're doing stall training, you're high enough up that what's the stall recovery method? Power out, nose down, right? And
one of the things I did not cover, and you covered, is that people want to trim and take the pressure off the yoke in the landing configuration. Then they do a missed approach, and immediately it pitches up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the best thing to do is don't take all the trim out. Hold some pressure where you have back pressure, because when you put full power to go takeoff, you're going to be pushing on the yoke to hold the nose down.
And it's an interesting thing you bring up there because, and just for me, and I know it's specific to me, but it did make me conscious of this. Is in Cessnas, and we fly Cessnas here in Cap. The trim wheel is right on the stall, right underneath your throttle typically, and you're used to doing that. Or you may have electric trim, use your thumb, and they're both pretty easy. And I remember during training, it's easy to kind of gloss over trim, right? But you're trimming, so you don't really think about it. And I even watch my instructor; they get so used to it, they just they know exactly how many spins and they go about it. But then I fly a Piper that has overhead trim, or rodeo trim as we call it. So my trim is up here and I have to do this, right? And it made me very conscious about trim. And I've noticed that it really changed the way I fly because I don't over trim because I have to take my hand off of the throttle to do trim. So for me, it's once I'm on final, that's kind of the last trim adjustment I do. And the rest is all just yoke. And I remember somebody asking about that, and it's exactly why. Where I rarely, when I practice my go rounds, I'm rarely in a situation where I am over trimmed, And the only time it does happen is when we're doing engine out, power off 180s. So on a power off 180 for your non-pilots, it depends on how you're trained, but a lot of people will trim for glide, which is a pretty high angle in most aircraft. You will trim for glide so you don't have to worry about that adjustment so much while you're focusing on your aim points. So if you are short or you've landed and you're going to do a touch and go, a lot of us will forget the trim after doing a power off 180. You go to take off again and now we're winding it all the way back down. So at least for me, I have to reach up and do this while there's flaps and other things going on. And the thing that I've learned is, you don't have to rush everything. You focus on the for those of us flying, power, right? And then we worry about our pitch angle, and now we can start taking out flaps when we have enough speed, and then I can fight my trim, and make sure that I get it done in a timely fashion, as opposed to one of the things that I noticed late in my training was I tended to try to rush and do all those things at once. And two things happen. You don't do it right, and then you tend to forget. So it's, that's kind of my advice from a safety standpoint. Anyways, anybody got anything to add?
This is practice say whoop-de-doo.
Oh, well, hey, this is how my trim, we call it rodeo trim. And the funny thing about it, I still, even thinking about it right now, this is up, this is down. Yeah, because I have to actually think about it, because if you just ask me which way does it go, I don't I don't know. I actually have to do the move because I trim up like this and I trim down like this. So it depends on if I'm roping the calf or if I'm bringing it. I lived in Texas too long. Anybody have anything to add on safety? Stalls, safety, stalls, safety. Okay. Don't eat yellow snow, something like that. Okay, round the table, quick check-in. So let's see, emergency services. Let's see, nobody's here, so we'll skip over that. Aerospace education. Anything new? Anything quick to add, or don't have to?
I guess I did earlier.
Don't feel pressured. Yep. Okay. You yes.
Paul's, not Paul, Carlos' update
About
the Fisto and
yes.
the controllers.
Yeah, the FISD. So, and who did he say? Did he give a name?
He didn't give a name. He just
Because there's a guy at the FISDO. There's a guy at the FISDO. He's really cool. He's spoken here before, and he's fun. So yeah, that's always a fun one. Safety. We are having a safety day, so don't worry about that. Nothing in standards and evaluations. See, finance. Anything to add besides pay y'all's bills, right?
I haven't gotten out the new invoice. Andre was supposed to show me where to go, or add me to something, to where to go to see who was paid a new amount, and the prorated.
Yeah, I'd like to know that too. Because yeah, he's super busy. I'll remind him. And plus, we need to have a meeting when Terry's back, I think, as well. Because isn't that one of the remediation items from the SUI? I think that's.
And he said he wanted me to see the group finance as well.
Oh.
But he hasn't put anything. He hasn't put anything.
He's not official yet.
So he has to do that once he's.
Yep. So once he is officially named, so he's the deputy group commander right now. So once he's officially named, he'll release everybody and then re-add. So look forward to that. Especially, hopefully, he does it better than I do, where I made a bunch of mistakes and people ended up all over the place. Well, because
the wing conference one is official for him, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, because the module where we do assignments like that, it's like I can't say, oh, take me to the finance committee so I can make all these changes. Like you have to pick a person who's in the committee, and then it shows you the rest of the group members, and then it has an annoying tendency to show it to them even if they're at the group level. So I'm just trying to do squadron work, so then I end up removing people off the wing side. I'm like, it's great, wonderful. It's a great first night as a commander. It's awesome. I just removed everybody from group. Let's see. Maintenance and/or transportation. Anything that we haven't already discussed? Key fobs.
I don't think so about the EFOBs. They still need to get them programmed.
Okay. Do we have a? Do we know yet? Do we know who we're gonna do or how we're?
I know where.
Oh, okay, okay.
I just need to know what to pay for it.
Do you know how much did they? Well, did they give you a quote yet?
150, 200.
250.
Maybe less.
Whoever's going to do the installation of the fob, maybe they could use that as a write-off and say, this is our service and we want to donate. Something to think about.
That's true. If they need to.
It's worth an ask. It's a business. They might have some write-offs. They can all things say is no and pay up. Okay. Okay. Kathy, anything to add on the admin side of the house?
Nothing yet. I know Andre says the three of us need to meet to go over
SUI stuff. Yeah.
all our discrepancies, whatever we had.
Well, I think there were 6, and some of them were already resolved. I think there's like 3 of them were resolved. So it's just like I know there was at least one for finance, and I think there's a couple of record-keeping ones, right?
One quick comm update, and for those that
Yeah. Why
are
is
interested.
why is comms not on here? Oh,
That's
it's down here. Don't worry. We got more to go. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can visit.
No problem. Personal development. Obviously, we talked about training funds are back. Dave, Chris, anything on public affairs, website stuff? I probably need to be added to the website.
Crossover for that and aerospace is we do have the event for the aerospace education STEM kit night in 2 weeks. That event, it's an event on Facebook for people to sign up so they can have all the info that they need. So if they, if you look, if you just want something to refer them to, refer them to our Facebook page, and they can look at that event item that they can then, register interest in joining in. So that's like a crossover post, I guess.
Cool. I probably need to be added somewhere, or I know I'm a member of the page, but I probably need to be added to able to edit the page, I think. So whoever can do that. All right. Comms.
And I'm not sure you're aware of this. Group decided to remove all of the comm equipment that we have stored in the hangar.
Who at group? Oh, Josh. I mean, it's the only
guess.
person in a group I know who would do that.
Yeah.
Did he not say anything?
I was never. I don't know if Mike was aware that he
No.
was going to do that.
No.
At any rate,
I think I have a use for my extra wise cams. I'm serious.
Why don't you just come in and do it without doing the paperwork?
Well, that gear, I don't think is it not assigned to us?
it's not assigned to
Right.
us. We don't inventory it. We
Right.
don't do anything.
So they technically can because it's not our gear.
But
They
there's
just
no
store it
trace
here.
of serial numbers or anything else.
Yeah.
Just so people are aware.
These are the
you need
Moss
that
kits,
gear.
right? These are the mission kits you're talking about?
The mission kit's still there, but all of the handhelds, there
Wow.
were 2 kits of handhelds, but for whatever reason, they left the VHF flyaway kit, but they took the antenna and the coax for it. But the flyaway kit's still sitting there in the rack.
That's odd.
At any rate, if you need, for an event coming up, if you need handhelds, things like that, apparently they're now all stored up at cable. So,
No, so that's Josh. This is most likely Josh then.
who knows? I don't.
Okay. Maybe he's taking advantage of the change in group and squadron command. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know if he asked anybody or.
No. I mean, Andre's been very good about anything he knows of. He sends to me. So. No.
Yeah, he said it was because there was a kit that was taken without permission or something, and it's more secure up at cable.
Yeah, because they don't have a plane.
Well, it's not only that, but if it's more secure, that means we can't get to it easily if we need the gear.
I mean, this squadron rarely uses handhelds. Like that's for SAR-X's, right? So that's whoever's organizing SAR-X's. That's going to be a pain for them. I mean, that's.
If the coax cable goes with your flyaway kit, then it needs to be returned.
But it's not, it's theirs. I personally think they forgot the flyaway kit and left it here and took the coax and the antenna.
So I'll send an email to Josh and see if he is.
I sent an
Responsible.
email to him letting
Oh.
him know the flyaway kit's still here.
Oh.
If your intent was to have that moved, somebody.
Yeah, it would have been nice to tell us. Right? Yeah. So.
Well, that was going to be my question to you and Andre. Did
Yeah.
anybody tell you? Because.
No. Nope.
Interesting.
All right, I'll reach out and I'll be hanging out with Andre all weekend, so we'll get to that.
Figure it out, we're gonna have to tell Aaron over at Playbox so that if we need radios, either.
He's got to talk to group comms. Yeah.
If he can't make it to 25 to pick it up, we can maybe work something out that we can pick it up. Something.
Okay.
But see, I don't even know. I think it's in their locked building, so I don't think you can just go and pick it up. I think you have to make arrangements with
Josh.
King to get the door opened or whatever.
Well, technically King is over here at the commemorative,
Yeah, he also volunteers for CA, for commemorative Air Force, whichever direction that is from here. So
Right.
over by the
Mhm.
terminal. So.
Yeah, again, I have no detail on where it's stored or anything, but the fact that he said the implication was our hangar wasn't secure enough, I doubt it's in their hangar.
They don't have a hangar.
They don't have a
Their
hangar.
plane
That's what I'm
sits-
saying. I'm like,
Their plane sits outside on the north side.
yeah.
No.
And the only thing they have is a double wide that was given to them, so everything they get is free from the cable family.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Just so you're aware, it's
Okay.
not there anymore.
Okay. All right. IT stuff. So I've been making the website updates. I probably need to have one of you two guys, Al or Dave. I know you have credentials, Al, and I need to get you credentials to be able to edit the website. It's all, and you'll just suddenly accidentally delete the whole page. it's super fun. But I need to make sure you guys get access to it so that I'm not the only one making updates. Health services, anything? Don't band-aids? No.
Well, considering it is coming into the winter season, and even though the weather's not showing it, just keep in mind we are going into flu season, as well as RSV. We have younger kids, so we're very mindful of that. Unfortunately, we actually had a kid last night who came in with RSV, so it is going to be prevalent in the neighborhood, especially at the Plans and Treats event. We're going to be inundated with a lot of people, a lot of kids.
And a lot of germs.
So,
Yes.
yes.
Little
Just be
petri
mindful of
dishes.
hand washing and sanitation.
Yeah, I mean, so for those of you who probably can't hear, this flu season, get your flu shot. RSV, can you tell us, like, what should we know about RSV?
RSV mostly affects younger kids.
Oh no, my kids?
Babies and premature babies are mostly prevalent to it, but because of the pandemic, we see a lot more older kids have it. It's like I said, just be very vigilant around any children because they are easily susceptible to carry
Yeah.
amongst themselves.
I'm assuming that adults can carry it
They
and pass it.
can and pass it,
Yeah.
yes. We've had that happen a couple times as well. But yeah, just to keep it in mind.
And is there inoculation for the little ones?
There is, they get a shot at a certain time of the year. I think it's like September through, I can't remember exactly what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's only a particular time and age group that gets that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, just be mindful.
All right. All right. Get your flu shots. Get your kids inoculated, or dip them in antiseptic. Right. Just dip them straight in there and then dip them. Let's see. No one's here for logistics and education and training. Same thing. Like I said before, if you're interested in getting back into flying or you are looking to get your Form 5, the gates are kind of open. Long range meeting schedules, they're up here. If you're interested in seeing the long range meeting schedule for like when we're not meeting and whatnot, these files are uploaded to the teams. So as soon as we post the new agenda, you can go in and look for yourself and see what happened in the meeting. Next meeting is next week. If we've got no further topics, I know we went a little bit over, but all right, meeting adjourned. Thank you everybody online. Thank you everybody online.